Good morning. It's Sunday morning in Hawaii. I picked up this little Tibetan singing bowl in Steamboat Springs, Colorado. Somehow I made it there to a Tibetan shop from the home of a Tibetan family who probably fashioned it, he said, and it ends up here with me, and I'm so pleased. Hello, my name, of course, is Larry Grimm, and I'm so pleased if you're here for you to come with me, whether you're live right now or whether you're um, engaging in my vlog post um, later on at a time. So I'm happy you're here and happy you are sharing this journey with me. This is my vlog on my remaining for health, my journey of health. Um, I looked at the difference between blogging and webinar, and the blog, it was stated, is more personal, whereas the webinar is more informational. And because it's more informational, it's it's not exactly what I wanted to do. I don't want to share so much information as I want to share my heart and what's going on in my soul as I walk this path and move through this process of dying. I have chosen to organize some of my reflections for you around um, Elizabeth Kubler-Ross's five stages of dying. If you do not know what those stages of dying are, not familiar with Kubler-Ross's work, up in to your left-hand corner, as you look, there's a link to an article, and just touch on that link, and you'll be able to get a good description of the five stages of dying, which she documented and observed. And I'd like to start off with a little bit of an orientation towards stages. And now how did she develop these stages? How did she observe these stages? And it's my understanding that the way stage theory is developed is that a group of people are identified who participate, and then the observer watches and listens to the activity and the talk of the people, of the individuals, documents those phrases and those actions, and then looking at the whole scope for each individual, sees how they tend to cluster together, and then where they cluster together and then reappear from person to person, individual to individual. The observer identifies the kind of keynote of each particular cluster and calls that names the stage that way. And so Elizabeth Kubler-Ross identified patients who were terminally ill. They were told they were terminally ill, and then she observed and listened to them and found that their actions and words clustered around five. I should start here. I don't know where I'm going. Five different stages, she called them. And these were first posed as stages of dying, not stages of grief, although later they were adapted to stages of grief. But 5 stages of dying then are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. Now, people may move through these laterally or linearly. Some individuals will. They'll show and manifest in one stage, finish it up, and then move to the next. Sometimes very quickly, sometimes slowly. I also believe that we can go back and forth between stages, so that we don't necessarily have to finish a stage or be involved in a stage until the end of that experience. That I think applies especially to these 5 stages of dying. Now, I'm a stage theorist appreciator, and where James Fowler and Ken Wilber have identified stages of conscious development of consciousness, I do believe that each stage has to be exhausted before a person can go to the next. Now, that's in conscious development. And what we're talking about here is a slightly unique approach to observing people going through stages, and that's stages of dying. So denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And there is inherent in this some sense that when we are accepting of our death and dying, that the whole process is much more tolerable and very enjoyable even. Alan Watts in the 1990s said, we need more people who will help us have delightful deaths. And I am certainly, as a chaplain, as a coach, as a pastor, I have always been, not always, but I've been very much invested recently in assisting in that. And that's part of the motivation for this for this vlog that I'm going to do. Another part of the motivation for the vlog is simply having you to listen and be with me. When people hear that friends and family are dying, the first thing they do is ask, what can I possibly do? What can I do for you? And without being cruel, the response is nothing that I have is nothing. You can do nothing. There may be things that I ask of you. And I have a friend who's offered several things that are just wonderful aspects of what the future holds. My family in Denver is ready to do whatever they can in order to receive me back into their company there. But actually, what I most cherish is people who will be with me in the process. It's very popular in American culture to think of dying as an event or an incident. And in fact, most people, when asked, but how do you want to die, will say, well, I'd like to have a quick heart attack and it's over. Or maybe somebody shoot me in the head or in the heart. Something that would end it quickly. Statistics say that a majority of Americans make that comment when asked how they want to die. Of course, majority of us will die in our homes with care. There, somebody caring for us through the process. And so what I want to stress, and what I stressed also when I was a chaplain in hospice care, is that dying is a process that we're engaged in. And that process of dying, months, over years, however long it may take, that process of dying, when we look at dying as a process, really gives us a chance to um, explore each of those stages, to learn something meaningful from each stage, and to invite family and friends to share in that process, uh, so that they too can learn. Now, look at it this way: we used to have our kapuna, that is the Hawaiian word for wise ones or for elders. We used to have our elders die at home. And so, because we were all localized, usually in the similar homes, or same home or close by, we could share in the dying process. We watched it happen, and we moved with our loved ones through each stage, through each development. Um, and we learned from our loved ones as they moved through this experience. Well, now we don't do that so much because we're scattered. We're across the world, of course, and even this video blog, even this vlog, is reaching friends that I have across the world. And thank you so much again for joining with me and being with me, which is far more important right now for me than what you do for me. So that's my orientation towards stages of dying, process of dying, and my particular situation is that I have been diagnosed with 4 tumors on my right kidney, and these tumors are the type of tumors, hard tumors, my urologist called them, that are 90% likely to be malignant. And because that percentage is so high, there was no perceived need to biopsy and determine if they were malignant. But rather, the question became, has the cancer metastasized? Has my cancer moved from my kidney to other places? So we did scans, CAT scans, that involved a look at my lungs, a look at my other organs, a look at my we didn't get to the bone, but a look at my kidneys and how they're functioning. And those CT scans revealed, and these have been the past couple of months, revealed that my organs are healthy. The cancer has not metastasized from 2 other organs. The readout says my spleen and my lungs and various organs are unremarkable. I like to think all of me is remarkable, but there is no medical indication of any huge problem. I have an enlarged prostate. I seem to have a couple of hernias, which I've had for some time in my life, but neither of those are really causing any problems. And the irony is that, in fact, my cancer, excuse me, seems to be localized in my right kidney and very low symptomatically, low level of symptoms. And by that, I mean my pain in my back, which is a typical symptom, is very low. I do not have blood in my urine. Um, my primary principle, my most profound symptom, is that I'm tired. I tire easily. I can sleep fairly quickly in the afternoons with a nap. Um, I'm tired there. And physically, though, I feel really pretty darn good, except for some pains from my hernia. And even my prostate's functioning pretty darn well. I have a low PSA, so I'm very pleased with that as well. Um, so things are going physically seem to be pretty well, doing well. Emotionally, one thing further about the physicality is that I may have had these tumors for more than a year. And the reason I say that is because I did have a CT scan about a year ago for some other indicated other problem, which I think was my prostate. And in the CT scan for the prostate, the video caught a little bit of my kidney, the bean-shaped kidney, and at the bottom of the kidney there was a growth of some sort. Um, my urologist wanted me to have an MRI, and my urologist said, "Can you lie down for an hour on your back?" And I said, "Yeah, sure, I can do that." Well, what I didn't remember at the time was, yeah, sure, I can do that as long as I have my CPAP machine blowing air up in my nose. And when I found out I could not have my CPAP machine, I canceled the MRI and never got back to that for a year. A year later, we were able to confirm, uh, again, a CT scan for hernias. We're able to confirm that there were tumors on my right kidney. That's interesting. Just kidney cancer is such that people don't notice it often in its early stages. And it's discovered in the same way by accident through MRI or through C scan, CAT scan. Um, the kidneys will be captured in the scanning process, and son of a gun, there, look at that. My patient has tumors on their kidney. So that's how mine was caught. And like I say, I may have been in this for over a year, which has an impact on my inner life and what I want to share with you. And because I believe that I was in denial before I even knew for sure I had, or knew consciously that I had these tumors. A year ago, I was in denial in that I had I was acting as though I could easily hold a relationship with a beautiful woman I loved. I was convinced that, yeah, I was tired, and occasionally my back hurt, but what big deal? I didn't even think about a cancer. I didn't even think about a disease process going on. But my body knew, my body was aware, and my body was clear about the fact that I was entering a long-term disease process. But I was emotionally in denial. I can handle this. I'll get up and move around and do things, and we'll go to places and have fun. And what I ended up doing was not doing very much. My actions really showed more of my denial. My activity showed more of my denial, than I realized. I didn't know I was in denial. I didn't know that I had a disease, but I was saying, "Oh, things haven't changed." Well, yeah, they were changing. I'm doing fine. I was not doing fine. I was having a illness and disease. So again, part of what I want to say is indicate or stress for you who may be relating to family or other friends who um, have a long-term terminal disease process, that their actions may indicate that they really are in denial uh, before they even are aware of the extent of their disease. So as you observe changes in behavior, slowing down, I forced myself at times to get up and get involved. Emotionally, I was happy just to lie on my back sometimes and breathe with my CPAP machine in peace. um, but I was in denial, and that's how that denial took shape. In fact, this little vlog is a little bit of denial. I can do this. Yeah, I can do this. And I'll do this because, well, because I can do it. The fact that my symptoms for my cancer are so low, very low pain, very low, and being tired is not a big deal. It's very easy for me to deny that I have it, that it's having an impact. It's very easy for me to say, yeah, what do you mean cancer? I mean, I really don't feel as though I have it. Sometimes I think, is that for real? Are those images on the screen, which I have seen in my doc's computer, on my doc's computer screen, are those real? Am I sure? Nah, they don't. Nah. Um, so there are times that I really don't want to accept it. I, I, I don't, I don't feel it. I'm not conscious of it in my everyday life. I don't have it. So that's denial. That's how denial kind of works. You may have noticed it. May have noticed it in yourself. And the wonderful thing about denial is it does work. It can be a way in which we engage more fully engage more fully with others and in our daily living activities, because we have strength, because we deny what's going on. And there are times that it will be unconscious, our denial. We have a rational life that we live through reason, a rational life of plans, making plans, fulfilling plans, implementing plans, getting it done, being effective. And then we have an emotional life that we may not be so aware of. And that emotional life can be driven by our body's knowledge of what's possible, what's happening. Never not stated, but the body's knowledge, in that it determines often who we are and what we can be. So yeah, denial is an expression of I don't want this. No, it can't be. When it becomes conscious, Larry, you're terminally ill. I say, oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. How are you going to? How does this make any sense? I don't think it does. So, my friends, that is my first introduction and my first foray with you into 5 stages of dying, into which I have more consciously entered now, having been given this diagnosis of cancer in my kidney. As far as prognosis goes, I'll have more information as we go along. But right now, there is I don't have any set prognosis. I'm going to move back to Denver. I asked myself, what do I really want most of all? And that was to be with my family. I love my daughters and my grandchildren more than I love Hawaii. And so I had been working maybe another part of my denial. I was hired by Borthwick Mortuary, which is a wonderful mortuary here to work as a funeral director, and I loved doing it. It was a great experience. But it was also every day a denial that I was too tired, too worn out, that I had occasional back pains that I didn't care about, and it was a great help for me actually. So I'm tremendously grateful to the Borthwick Mortuary. I'm more than that. I'm very grateful for Anne and the love that she shared so generously and the gifts that she gave so freely to me, even at a time when I was unknowingly entering into the disease process. I am grateful. Next week, we will convene again at this time, and it looks as though I maybe do not have uh, something functioning correctly in my website because I didn't get any people participating and watching in real time, at least not according to what I've got on the feedback that I get on the StreamYard broadcast. So I'll make my effort to work that out. In the meantime, I do hope that some of you will be watching this after the fact. And I pray you well. Thanks for joining with me. Thank you for being with me, first and foremost, of importance. Aloha love to you. Keep breathing.